What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Movie Talks. This is episode 45, the only podcast you need for all your movie news, movie reviews, and more. So 45 times that we have graced your ear canals with our slumbering movie trivia, reviews, and more. Lawson
I,
with his art house, not even letting him get a word in before he can
I
jump.
prefer ear holes.
Nope, ear canals. We're sophisticated up here in this realm of aerial space. I don't really know where I was going with that, but
You never do.
yeah, I do. I always have a plan.
Man,
I'm a man with a plan. I'm the action man, the velour head. You know what's happening.
my God.
You'll get those references
You've been awake
someday.
for too long this morning. I've only been awake the past hour.
I was up at technically I woke up about 4:45, and then I was like, yeah, yeah, I might try and go back to sleep, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
And then I actually got up at 5, and we had a good time. Lots of editing, lots of actually finished Transformers this morning. So,
Oh, really?
so it's very, very exciting. But
Mm-hmm.
what? Well, not with your attitude. Your
Never is.
your
My attitude's
attitude.
shit.
It hasn't improved either. It has not.
Well, you make me watch anyway.
Anyway,
You make me watch two fucking long, boring movies in a row. Come on, man.
I did not. It was good. But anyway, let's get into everyone's favorite movie news. So, do you think the movie news is going to be packed out this evening?
Well, I intentionally look nothing up during the week, so
Okay.
it's always a surprise to me.
All right. Well,
Yes, it's gonna be fucking wicked. There's gonna be so
all
much
right.
movie news.
Yeah, I like the attitude. Let's get into another long movie, which is now getting an even longer director's cut. What do you reckon it is? What do you reckon it
Uh,
is?
it's a long movie. It gets director's cut. I don't know.
John Wick 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get,
Why?
I don't know. Just because. It's just they wanted
Sure.
to do a director's cut. Why not? It was a good movie, but I don't know that needs another cut.
Yeah, I don't feel like the cutting was what brought it down in any way. I think it was. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Elizabeth Banks is creating the Beanie Baby craze, so they have a new trailer out. So this is
Oh,
kind of
like a Beanie
docu.
Baby
Yeah,
documentary sort of style.
yeah. Knowing her, it'd probably be a bit more of a parody than anything. I feel like it would
Yeah,
have to be.
I thought her directing in um
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear was boring at best.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Hopefully, this is more comedy. I feel like that's a niche that she should probably
Hmm.
focus on. But Paddington in Peru cast two new people, Oliver Coleman and Antonian Banderas.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Okay.
I
What'd you
don't
say
know.
it was? Sorry?
The Paddington in Peru.
Paddington.
So the third Paddington movie. I used to love Paddington growing up. I actually don't
I
mind
have
the
no
two
connection to
episodes.
Paddington. Have you
Oh,
watched the other two movies then?
bet you can bear it. I have seen it.
Okay.
Did you
No,
get
I've
it?
never. I did get it. I just chose to ignore it. 'Cause it wasn't. It wasn't good.
It was good.
Yeah. Look, I don't have any connection to it, but if people are enjoying it, like if you reckon that the first two are halfway decent, then awesome.
The first
Good
one
on
was
them.
good. The second one
Hmm.
was okay. So
Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna get this wrong, but Tom Holland's girlfriend partner Zendaya,
Whatever it is,
yeah,
Zendaya, I think, but I don't know.
is forming a love triangle in the new trailer for Lucius Guadagnino's latest film, which with the likes
Yes.
of Call Me by Name.
Yeah, I did see that. I don't know what I even saw. I saw like a thumbnail, like a picture of the show with her with two men,
Yep.
and it being like, is it about polyamory or a threesome relationship? I don't really know.
Says love triangle. I'd assume it's something exploring those ones.
Yeah,
It's by Warner Brothers.
what's it called?
Uh, is a former tennis prodigy turned coach and a force of nature who makes no apologies for a game on and off the court. Married to a champion on losing streak. Tash's strategy for her husband's redemption takes a turn and must face off against the washed-up Patrick.
I asked what it's called, and you gave me the synopsis.
Yeah, I did. It is called Challenges.
Challenges. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Is it following a certain person's life?
I don't know.
No. Three players grow up together, teenagers. Okay.
Yep. Who knows?
Sure. I have no interest. It seems like another teeny bot bullshit. I'm really bored of that genre at the moment.
Yep. Well, the teen, what's it? Not teen. The June Part 2 is coming out soon. So she's in that as
I don't
well.
think that's very teeny.
No, just she was in it, so
she was in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she in Part 2? I have no idea.
Yeah, she is. She's
Cool.
in Part 2. And the Wicker Man, it's the Wicker Man's 50th anniversary.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't think I've even seen the Wicker Man. I know what it is, but like
I never got around it. It was okay.
Okay. It's Christopher Lee, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah. And last bit of movie news, a little bit quiet on the movie front. Aaron Taylor.
That was Nicolas Cage. Sorry, I just pictured Nicolas Cage with the bees on his head.
Yep.
Sorry. Please go.
Anthony Taylor Johnson is a Marvel anti-hero in the first Cavern the Hunter trailer.
Okay.
Looks pretty good. Does
it?
Yeah. There was debates whether it was going to be M15 or actual R, kind of following. I feel like they need more mature Marvel films. So like Deadpool, if it wasn't R, it wouldn't have worked. But I feel like they need like Morbius. Morbius they wrecked. And I think
I don't know what that is.
Morbius was the vampire. It was Jared Leto who played it. But to make it should have been at least MA to R, but they made it like he drank synthetic blood and all the fight scenes and all the gore were all like silhouettes. It annoyed me, so that they could still keep their less rating, which is annoying.
Yeah, I agree though. I think that so many decisions in Hollywood decided around like viewership and stockholders and what's going to get the most people in the cinemas. Where I think that holds back a lot of movies. I said it before. Like I think the story should be told to suit the characters and to suit the story rather than to suit a classification. I'm sick of movies doing action but then cutting away from the death or not showing us any blood or like just do it how it needs to be done. Logan is the perfect example of that. That is probably my favorite superhero movie.
Okay.
And they threw away their rating. It was the first like probably not the first R Marvel film, but it was like the first X-Men R, American R.
Yeah.
And because of it, it was a masterpiece. They could do so much more.
Yeah, it gets that dark gritty, especially if you're dealing with some of those types of characters. Like the Hunter is very brutal with his captures and stuff. Like he needs to be able to portray that, which I don't know if they're going to do or not. So I hope they do.
Yeah, suppose we'll see.
Yeah, leading into some, I guess, violence. It is the Wrath of Becky. So it is an R-rated film in America, which would be MA.
MA.
Yeah, MA in Australia. Sorry. And this is the return of Sean William Scott, who I have not seen in a movie for quite some time. He hit the peak in American Pies, and then was it Role Models? Pretty sure it was Role Models.
He did Role Models. He did Goon 1 and 2. And I was watching an interview that my partner showed me where he intentionally took some time off because he was being so typecast as that frat boy dickhead Stifler sort of character that he was refusing to play the role. He did not want to be that token Stifler character anymore. So if you look at his IMDb list, there's like big chunks of time missing, and that's it's good that he's doing things like this. Like he helped co-produce this, so he obviously had a lot of passion for the project. Good on him because he
Yeah,
didn't play that dickhead. He played an asshole, but he didn't play that, frat boy dickhead.
that's good. That's kind of a similar story to what's his name, Matthew McConaughey, when he was typecast in the romantic comedies. He was turning down massive deals
Yep.
and then came back and was doing stuff he actually wanted to do.
hmm
So I like when
Yeah, I think
actors
it's
do
fair.
that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's in his 40s now. It's like Sean William Scott.
yeah,
He needs to start getting some more serious roles, and I think he can do it.
yeah,
I think he's good.
because you can't always play that character that's got a time limit on it.
hmm
But this is the Wrath of Becky. 2 years after escaping a violent attack, a teenage girl must defend herself against a terrorist cell. So this is classed as an action horror thriller, which I'm surprised comedy isn't sort of thrown in there because
Yeah,
or even parody. It definitely felt more of a comical action adventure rather than, I wouldn't even say horror. Horror probably shouldn't even be in
yeah,
there.
or even a thriller. It's an action comedy in my eyes,
Yeah.
but
So Becky is an orphan who bounces around from home to home, and there is reasons for her bouncing around to different homes. They don't really delve into why or like any
mm,
sort of backstory. It's just that she bounces around and has to
well,
survive.
it's worth pointing out this is a sequel.
Is it?
Yes, there is there is a movie
Oh,
before this. Did you not
there
notice in
is.
this movie they were talking about my father being attacked by neo Nazis and
I
had all
just
these
assumed that
flashbacks
was
to
like
her.
just
And
a random. I didn't even realize Kevin James is in the original.
yeah, Kevin James and oh my God, what's his name? The main guy from Community.
Oh, Joel McHale.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
right.
I think Kevin James was like the bad guy in the first one, just
Yeah,
called Becky.
he's called Dominic Kevin James, and Joel is called Jeff.
hmm
It,
Yeah, so the
wasn't he
first one,
Jeff in Community as well?
I think he was.
Yeah,
I don't even recall. So yeah, it's interesting in the fact that it is a sequel, but like you said, you didn't even know that. And I think that's credit to it is the fact that you don't need to have seen the first one for this one to make sense. It is its own standalone story, and just knowing mum died of cancer, I think they said, dad died of being killed by these neo Nazis, and there was this key involved, and we don't really know more about that. I think that's enough. This movie didn't need to spend a shit ton of time with this character, even if you haven't seen the prequel. So yeah, credit to it. They got into it nice and quick.
yeah, right. Well, that changes a few things in what I was going to, but
Oh, really?
yeah, that's all good. So, what sort of kicks it off? Becky has found a new home. She gets placed with a lovely family and she's working at a diner. These guys come in who are just I think they played a good stereotypical, like, I don't know, what was it, like redneck, gruff sort of
Yeah, like alpha
arrogant.
male mentality.
Yeah, because they come in and they're just rude, obnoxious, make like sexual innuendos towards her.
hmm
And that is where it kicks off. You have like a break in, and you see Becky sort of taking names, not taking any stick. I like the contrast with them. There was I'm not sure if it's a nod at like John Wick where the dog gets taken and she has to like save a dog. Like,
Yeah.
was that a
I will
nod
point out
to?
now that the directors were approached 3 weeks before filming started to create this, and they
Wow.
wrote it. So it was written in 3 weeks and filmed in 18 days. So there are a lot of very obvious homages to Kill Bill, to Edgar Wright films, to, like you said, John Wick. There are a lot of things that they drew connection with, and I think whether that's a homage or laziness because they didn't have much time. It is what it is. But I don't. To me, it was they were nice. They didn't feel like a rip off. They felt like nods, as you said, which I'm okay
Yeah.
with.
And they also, which we've always said, if you're going to go that sort of comedy style, you need to lean into it. Because if you don't, you end up with a mess like, what was that other film that was neither here nor there? Can't remember. It was a few weeks back now. But this one led into the comedy style, like the kill scenes and everything was over the top. There was over the top gore. There's parts where Becky and the terrorist cell are actually having their big face-offs, and it's like your friend needs help, and like an arrow gets shot through someone's face,
through his cheek. Yeah.
Like
he's running inside. She's got a crossbow, and he's got like the crossbow bolt sticking out both sides of his cheek.
Yeah, like there's silliness, there's like over the top. I like that she breaks the fourth wall when she's showing you what she envisions would happen, but there's a different sort of take that it would actually happen. Like there's so much, it's fast paced. I did feel like the pacing dropped in the middle slightly. So after the first act, the start of the second act was a little bit slow, but then it ramps up really, really quickly. So I felt like there was a little lull.
Yeah, to me, there's a moment where they first go to the cabin because she follows these. They're called noblemen, and they're more or less like a terrorist group, but a terrorist group of alpha males who think they're anyway. And she follows them out to their own little cabin in the woods, and the terrorist group, the noblemen, are sitting around talking, and there's probably too much of that. It is nice, and I watched this with my partner, and we were pointing out how because we spent so much time with the bad guys, these noblemen, it did make it easy to hate them, and it did, make us want them to die, to suffer, make us side with Becky more, not just because they took her dog, and not just because they killed her friend, but yeah, there was a little too much of sitting with them in their room. And there's this one character who, I'll point out now, the acting's not great by a few people. Some of the noblemen. There's these three that walk into the bar, or into the diner, sorry. They're probably like the worst three actors in the movie. But there's this one guy who's like a bit more straight edged. He's joined the noblemen because he wants to join a cause, and he's fighting for equality and whatever, but he doesn't really realize that they are going to this thing the next day for an insurrection. They're going to kill people, and he didn't really know the extreme, or to the extremes that the noblemen go to, I suppose. So he tries to get out, more or less. And I was thinking the whole time that because he's like this straight edge character, he's going to end up being like the inside man for Becky and helping her and working with her, and they'll get out together. But he just dies, and it felt like what he was there for just felt hollow, because in the end he was just fodder to be killed by, not even by Becky, to be killed by Sean William Scott's character. So yeah, you're right, there's a bit of pacing where I was a bit like, I don't know what's happening, and I don't know why this is happening. But yeah, it sort of did pick back up. I didn't like the ending.
No?
Mainly like the ending. I'm gonna go spoilers because it doesn't matter, but this brought the movie down for me. I feel like the middle, when everyone was dying and she was sort of, hunting them and having fun killing them. We got the first death was a grenade in the mouth, with the pin being pulled out when they opened the door, sort of like a tooth pull.
It's kind of like a gruesome Home Alone.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted this to be. But the end, the twist, not the twist, but there's a reveal that there's this old woman called Daryl, who is Daryl's mum, and she's actually like the leader of the noblemen in some way. Who knows? And they, had like this show because she has this USB, and they're trying to like interrogate her, and they're threatening to kill her dog, and she gets herself free. He throws a knife into this woman's head, and then Sean William Scott's character goes off. He got bear pepper sprayed. She then runs away, lures him into the woods. She lays bear traps. He steps in one, then steps in the next, then falls headfirst into the third one. Like they're the most perfectly placed bear traps in existence. It felt almost too obvious.
I know.
And then she goes back to the house, and yeah, that's fine. Like, it's a suspension of disbelief. She's also a 16-year-old girl taking out all these men. Like, I'm allowed to you're allowed to disbelieve it. It's totally fine. It's fun. But she goes back to the house, and this woman who got a knife thrown into her forehead is back up, and she's standing, and she's like, "You didn't kill me," or some shit. And then just because the only reason that she came back to life almost, or that she survived a knife to the head, is because they wanted the dog to kill someone. And she said, "Dog's name Diego, attack," and the dog killed her. And then she got some badass line. Forget what line she even said now. It just it just felt really dumb and like almost too cliche and silly when the rest of the movie didn't like it was fun, but it didn't feel silly until that last
No.
little kill.
No, it got silly when she was like doing one-liners with the arrow through the face, and then she was standing there waving, and then they just started randomly shooting at her. That's when it
I still think that's still to me that's still fun without being
I know that turned pretty goofy because it went
yeah.
to a full close-up of her just like standing there waving. And
Yeah, like
then
it's again, it's fun, but I don't think it's silly. Like silly is to me is the difference between a kids show and an adult show sort of thing. Like the fact that this woman came back alive.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not saying it's for kids. I didn't like the ending
okay.
personally.
You didn't like it how, spoilers again, where she gets recruited by the CIA. She becomes the youngest CIA person
I
ever.
was fine with that. And then you're right. The final kill was her shooting that guy with a like bazooka.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Like that felt fitting.
I don't know.
It just
I felt like each of those did fit into their like silly humor that they were going for. Like, yes, the bear traps were a little bit too perfectly placed, but I still enjoyed seeing that like the perfectly placed bear traps was like one after the other.
that's the one I'm least worried about. The woman getting a knife to the forehead and then coming alive just so they could kill her with a dog is the one thing that I was like,
Her name is Daryl Senior.
yeah, because she was Daryl Jr.'s son. She has this big speech about just because we're different genders doesn't mean we can't have the same. I can't name my child after. I'm woke.
I thought that
She
was
goes,
hilarious.
yeah, I laughed. Uh, yeah, it's just not the ending I wanted. That one death I think was unnecessary. It's just because they wanted the dog to kill someone, and that's the only way they could shoehorn it in.
I don't know. I was
It just
happy
felt
with
it
the
just felt
dog
lazy.
killing.
I think is a better way of putting it.
Okay, yeah. I kind of liked it. I thought it was fitting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but look, 3 weeks of writing and 18 days of filming. It's not a bad watch.
it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that little blip of pacing issue, but overall, they probably needed it though. Like otherwise, it would have just been random fodder to kill. At least there was a
I would have
motive.
preferred that. I would have
Really?
preferred more bad guys and more fun murders because we got I think the first death was the most fun one.
Oh yeah,
Person
with
being
the
killed with the
grenade.
grenade.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
yeah,
from then on, everything didn't feel as exciting
yeah.
or
Fair.
as fun
It's a
in
fair point.
comparison.
What would you
Yeah, I would
give
just
it
like
then?
more men, more murders, more fun,
Yeah.
less silliness at the end, especially. Well, more silliness, but like less. I don't know how to put it. I think it's just lazy writing. Um, it to me it's a 3. Like I'd still recommend it. I think it's a decent watch. It's not even a full feature length. It's like 80 minutes long. So it's very easy to sit and watch. I had a good time, but it's not a movie that I think, everyone should go and watch. Hurry up, go watch it. It's amazing.
Yep.
But it's a good watch. It's
Yep.
enough. 3 for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I had a great time with it. I thought it was really fun. As I said, the pacing was a little bit off-putting, but I didn't have an issue with the things that you did. But again, it still needed a little bit extra. Like it needed probably more deaths. So I would have liked it if they went into her just like killing an entire squad. Like if they went to the rally and then she just went
Mm-hmm.
ham on everybody, like that would have been
Yeah,
cool. But
I think that's what Mad Heidi did better. Was just
yeah,
more over the topness. Like this didn't actually reach the point of being so over the top ridiculous that it's hilarious. This was just fun.
Yeah. So maybe if they do a third and get the trilogy of Becky,
Hmm.
I don't know what they'll do after it, but who knows? It's like a 3.5 for me. I had a good
Sure.
time. Should definitely check it out if you're looking for a nice short little run for
Hmm.
something.
Yeah, it's a good watch for 80 minutes.
Yeah. Do you know what else is a really good watch?
Don't say
Oh,
Transformers.
Autobots roll out. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Maximus. Yes. So Transformers: Rise of the Beast, which is the seventh film, I believe.
Is
I'm,
it?
tr- I'm trying to. So there was the original trilogy with Shia LaBeouf,
Shia
and then
LaBeouf?
after that, you got into there was like Mark Wahlberg, which Mark Wahlberg was in. Was he in two or three of them?
I don't know. I didn't watch any of them past, I think, two. Okay, so there's Transformers, then there's Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and then Dark Side of the Moon. Oh, sorry, Dark of the Moon.
Yep.
And then there's Age of Extinction,
Yep.
The Last Night,
Yep.
and a Bumblebee film.
Yep.
And then this,
Yep. So seventh.
seven.
Yep. So number seven.
Ridiculous.
So in the previous films, we have seen a dinosaur. So I forget what Jaws or
I think it's
something.
Age of Extinction.
Yeah. So we have got that, and you were a big fan of Beast Wars. I loved Beast Wars back in
Love Beast Wars.
was it early 2000s? Was that
Um,
when it was out?
I'm gonna say no, I think it was more like late 90s.
Late 90s.
Yep,
Yeah. So
I reckon.
says during the 90s, a new faction of Transformers, the Maximals, joined the Autobots as allies in the battle for Earth. So there was the Maximals, and there was also the Predacons as well. So the Maximals were all based off mammals, and then the Predacons were all like your raptors and your other sort of
Yeah,
dinosaur-y kind of ones.
they were like the Beast Wars. I,
Yeah.
I went into this thinking there's gonna be more to do with the Beast, but it really didn't feel like it.
Not really. So the whole premise of the film is you get introduced to the Maximals. They have to come and save the planet because their planet died. So they do their oath about saving a planet. You get introduced to two new human people, which is Noah. Noah is looking after his family and can't get a job. He was discharged from the what's called the military because he had to deal with stuff at home, like his brother's sick. And then we've
Hmm.
got Elena, who is like a research scientist, archaeologist. I don't know exactly what her role was, but she deals with like
Yeah, she was an
artifacts and
intern. Yeah, just some museum thing.
yeah. So I'm assuming she is studying some of those roles. One of them.
Mm.
It's not the point, but she learns about hieroglyphics and she is able to crack a code later on. But we introduced to new villains where I was disappointed with the villains. Like the villains in Transformers what sort of make a big action film because
Hmm.
you want them to be able to beat the villain. But Scourge, unfortunately, he wasn't really that menacing. Like with a power to be able to like corrupt and erode a transformer, like that should have been a massive focus. Where the aim of this movie, which is probably no surprise, it runs a pretty stock standard formula, which I'm sure Lawson's going to rant about pretty soon. But before he gets into that rant, there is a key. There's two halves to a key. They have to not let the key fall into the hand of Scourge. Otherwise, it would be the end of human existence, and it will allow the Transformers a way to get home, which has been their goal for the last six films, is to be able to get home, but they also need to be able to protect the life on Earth. I really liked Optimus Primal. He is one of my favorites, and
Hmm.
I
It's
also
Ron Perlman, boy.
Yeah, I also play the skin in Fortnite as well, so I can go primal. Love it. Optimus Prime was sick. There
Yeah.
were
Do you like
towards.
Mirage?
I liked him as comic relief. Like he was pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. I liked how
Pete Davison.
Bumblebee didn't have his standard sort of like one-liners consistently with the radio, which was kind of nice. Like if we go into
Mm.
spoilers,
He took a back seat.
so if you haven't seen it or you care about the story, I hate
Don't.
that. What? Don't go into spoilers.
No, I'm saying don't care about the story because you're
No,
gonna be disappointed.
yeah, well, all right. But Bumblebee did give his life. He gets wrecked by the Transformers, but unfortunately, well, like it needed weight with his sacrifice because there was no weight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought them introducing a number of different new characters that would be moving away from Bumblebee, but no, Bumblebee obviously is a crowd favorite and is in all the
But that's a
shows.
problem. That's a problem with any prequel. If you do a prequel, this is set in between the Bumblebee movie and every other movie. You
Yeah,
know who's gonna survive and who's not. If they're in the future movies, you know that everything's gonna be fine. There's no
yeah.
wait.
And yeah, he has a really cool re-entrance, but it also is soured by like him giving his life. Like I liked how he came back. I liked his entrance, but it sort of made all the villains seem really, really weak. Like they could have had a
Mm.
massive fight. Like I can't remember the exact villain, but it had two like katana swords. It was looking like it was about to dominate, and then Bumblebee comes in and just destroys everyone. It's like you didn't even get a big face off, which was kind of
Yeah,
annoying.
they just came. Yeah, you're right. He came in and saved the day. They want to give him his hero moment rather than. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
where we should have got more time with the Maximals. The Maximals were really cool. Like we only really got time with Primal
Mm-hmm.
and also
An air razor.
Air Razor. They were your two
Yeah.
main ones, but like you've got Cheetah and you've got the other ones, which are
Mm-hmm.
they're so cool.
Yeah.
But you didn't get time with them, which is disappointing.
Yeah, I thought that this was going to be, like I said, like heaps more about the beast because the movie's about the beast is in the fucking name. I thought it would have had way more to do with it. And when it started, the first opening shot, or the first opening scene, I should say, the cold opening is the primals against or maximals. What is it? Primals, maximals? I don't know.
Maximals.
Sure. It was them versus Scourge.
Yep.
And it was like a really cool opening. And then we went back to Earth or future Earth, and it became just another Transformers movie. And can I go into a rant now? Is it time?
It will be time for the Lawson rants. Lawson rant, roll out.
God. It's it's the same as every other Transformers movie or every other film of this genre. It starts with good guys finding MacGuffin or good guys needing to find MacGuffin, somehow being thrown into the chaos. Just like the first Transformers movie, just like the second Transformers movie. I could continue. And then
Please
it's
do.
the Transformers finding MacGuffin. And then it's bad guys come to stop them from finding MacGuffin. And then bad guys get MacGuffin. And then good guys rally together and create a bigger team and go kill bad or go fight bad guys again to get MacGuffin. And then the things all look bad. And you don't know what's going to happen. And then someone comes in and saves the day, or someone gets a power up, or someone becomes a little bit stronger because of some bullshit writing. And then good guys win and get MacGuffin. It is the same stock standard formula. I don't know how people can still enjoy this shit.
Bravo. So
It's
cool.
not, it's not cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It is.
it's
It's
so
so good.
boring.
So good.
I enjoyed this movie more than I probably expected myself. But
You're
from a
becoming a
writing,
fan.
I'm
You're
not becoming a
becoming you're
fan. I still
becoming
wouldn't
an
recommend
action
this to
hero
people.
fan. Yeah, yeah.
But it's just like nothing new was explored. I really thought this was a chance to do something interesting and different with the Maximals, Primals, whatever the fuck they are. The beasts. This was about beasts, and there's nothing about the beasts. And I don't give us the same movie over and over and over again.
Maximals rise up. How cool was that when they were running in? Oh, that's so cool.
No, I'm not impressed by just CGI things running at the screen.
Yes, you are. That was so cool.
It looked bad too. The end when main guy, whatever his fucking name was, when he was in
Scourge.
that like, no, the main kid character.
Oh no, where he's randomly got a like Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was
terrible.
There were moments, yeah, but the actual Maximals when they were charging the battle looked cool. There was the
CG's not hard anymore. Creating CG high rendered models in an engine, throwing them on a screen isn't that difficult. But trying to get someone to look like they're in a CG suit, it looked fucking bad. But any interaction between real life and CG looked horrible. All CG looked fine because it's just computer rendered robots. That's not a problem. But as soon as any interaction between the two, it was like fucking mid 2000s bad.
But did you see how Primal moved? Oh, it was so good. He was a madman.
Not impressed.
God. Yeah, how can he not be?
Because it's not entertaining.
You take that back.
You fucking gorilla, man.
Yeah, he's so good. Look at him. Can I get him? Look at him.
Yeah, look at him.
Look at him.
But he just looked like a gorilla. Like he might as well have just been a gorilla.
That's what he was in Beast Wars. He is a gorilla. And like Optimus Prime is a truck. Are you upset that Primus looks like a truck?
No, but I'm saying like he might as well have just been a gorilla. The fact he was a Transformer made no difference to his character.
That's
Primal.
Have you not seen Beast Wars? Optimus Primal is a gorilla. I don't understand why you're so not impressed by this. He's a gorilla Transformer.
I don't know, man.
What do you mean?
It's my cynical old man brain now.
Oh, he was so cool. Look at them all. Look at them.
Look, I'm glad you had fun, and I'm glad people are going to enjoy this. That's not a bad thing. I'm not saying people aren't allowed to enjoy this. It's just I don't see the entertainment value in watching the same movie I've seen 50 times.
Oh, who hurt you? Why can you not enjoy robots fighting?
Michael Bay hurt me. That's what happened. The music in the final scene was really fucking stupid. They tried to make it like, because it was set in the 90s, and when I first knew that, because I didn't know that coming into it, when they first, said it was the 90s and they had 90s technology and all that sort of stuff, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like, happy with movies set in the 90s. There's gonna be a lot of like little fun moments where the technology is a hindrance, or they think these things are really advanced, but they're, shitty technology from the 90s. They did nothing with it. The fact that it was set in the 90s, it could have been set in the 2090s and it would have had no difference to the plot. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it was still great.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
There's just a lot of things that
if a character's walking in with coffee in their hands, don't use empty cups. It's fucking obvious. It's just a lot of little things. I'm like, this for a movie with this kind of budget, it was very lazy in a lot of ways. But whatever. I'm glad people enjoy it. You're allowed to enjoy it.
But look at Optimus Primal.
I'm not saying.
Look at my boy. He looks so good. At your boy. Yeah. Can you do it?
I'm glad you had fun, man. You can review it first and give it a number before I do.
Ooh. My biggest downfall with the film was that Scourge was not as intimidating. Like, I want a big bad guy like Megatron. He's intimidating. Like, you feel like
fair.
He's going to absolutely destroy everyone's day. And like his power when he shoots what was it, Upwing, or I can't remember the bird's name. The Transformer, Scourge shoots it.
Oh, Air Razor. Yeah.
Air Razor, yeah. And like it corrupts and then takes over the mine. Mm-hmm. Like, how much was that a touching moment? Spoilers, but when Optimus Primal had to like end him.
Put her down. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's such a massive ability. Like, that could have been terrifying if they were like, if you get hit by a scourge, you all of a sudden just, you know, lose your mind and have to fight everybody. But
Yeah, it would have
they
been cool to have like some doppelganger stuff. Like, are they evil? Are they not?
yeah, but
Yeah,
they never touched on it besides that
no,
one point. And then seeing Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime fighting together, so good. It is absolutely glorious. So
sure,
unfortunately, with I didn't really care about the humans either. So like back
no,
in Transformers 1 and 2, I really were like getting around Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. I really liked those two. But in the other films, I didn't care about the human companions. Like the human companions sucked. Even though I like Mark Wahlberg, I didn't think he suited the Transformers franchise. I
don't
didn't
know.
like him in it. But
Yeah,
again, Noah and Elena, they didn't really do it for me either.
nope, nope.
I think Noah had an occasional moment here and there, but then all of a sudden he was just gifted a suit, which was annoying. Like
Yep, they were blank slates.
there's got to be a reason why. Like make me care for those characters, but
Yep,
I still had a great time overall. So it's like probably if I'm going to give it a generous 4. I had a great time. Optimus Primal,
generous for.
generous 4. Optimal Primal. Primals rise
Sure.
up. Yes, get around
For
it. I
those
love
who
it.
aren't watching the VOD, every time he says Optimus Primal, he's bashing his chest like a fucking gorilla,
Yeah.
like the big dumb gorilla that he is. Yeah, look, I didn't hate it the whole way through. I looked away from my phone more than I looked at my phone, but it's such a nothing movie. It's the same as everything else that's coming out. You mentioned the characters as well, and I'll quickly just mention them. We have a Hispanic character and an African American character. Like there are two characters. It's nice that we're not just getting blank slate white characters anymore. I'll give them that. But when literally the only part of their character that's not white is their skin color, give us more than that. There's no reason. It feels tokenistic unless you give us something, an actual reason for their culture and whatever. I'm not saying give us white characters unless there's a reason, but it just feels tokenistic when you're giving us characters that are people of color, but you do nothing with the fact that they're people of color besides their skin color. It's obvious that it was a tokenistic choice to sell and to seem woke than it was to actually like include different cultures in the film. Anyway, that's neither here nor there because that doesn't actually make the movie any better or worse. It's like a 1.5 to me. It's maybe even a 2. There are some moments that I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And like I can turn my dumb brain on. I like dumb movies as well, but it's nothing exciting. And I can't recommend this to people. Jesus.
Not exciting.
Go watch the
What?
first Transformers.
I have multiple times.
Yeah. But I'd rewatch that before I watch this.
No,
Like
maybe.
that's campy and shit in all the right ways.
Ah,
This is like this takes itself way too seriously.
yeah, it does. Gotta get around him. Optimus
No.
Prime
Peter
and Optimus
Dinklage. Peter
Primal.
Dinklage was Scourge. And he did not like you said, he's such a boring bad guy.
Yeah,
You
but
gotta have a cool bad guy.
they got it. They got to be building something because he kept saying like send reinforcements. Like there's something coming. I bet you this has
Oh
got another.
wait.
This has got another 2 films. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be
They'll
like,
keep bringing him out. It's like Fast and Furious. They'll keep bringing him out because they keep making money.
yeah, they do. It's because it's good.
Transformers does so well in the Chinese market, but no one talks. It's just action and action, action.
Well, that's why John Wick did so well. That's why he talks for 38 minutes in
Yeah, I get it.
total. In a total.
It's all about making money.
Money, money,
Transformers will
money.
keep making money.
Yeah, well. All right, let's roll on to Flamin without the G. Hot.
Flaming hot.
Flamin hot. So this is the inspiring true story of Richard Montanez.
Montañez.
Montañez.
Sure.
Who, as a Lay's janitor, disrupts the food industry by channeling his Mexican heritage to turn Flamin' Hot Cheetos from a snack into an icon global pop culture phenomenon. So, I am actually not a fan of Cheetos or really potato chips in general.
Love potato chips.
Yeah, so
It's my biggest vice. More than
uh,
chocolate, more than ice cream, more than anything. Potato
really,
chips.
really,
hmm
did you
When
do
I
you
was
get?
in year, go on.
No, you go on. I'm interested about this story.
Oh, I was going to say when I was in year 8, we had to give up. We had to. I went to a Catholic school. We had to give something up for Lent, 40 days without something. And most people did like chocolate and whatever, so that when Lent was over, which was Easter, you get chocolate for Easter and it breaks the Lent. I gave up potato chips, and that Easter, all I got for Easter was a bunch of potato chips. It was the
Oh,
greatest.
okay.
I love potato chips.
Okay. Okay. Do you get around Cheetos?
I've had them. Flaming hot Cheetos, I don't mind. They are pretty like you can only have a few of them. Well, my vanilla palate can only handle a few of them. But
Right.
yeah, I think they're one of those things that like they're more of an American thing.
Okay.
I had Twisties more than I had Cheetos, you know.
Okay. Okay. So this is a kind of a biopic, but more of a retelling drama, comedy, history. I'm not entirely sure how everything is, well, how true to the story it is. Like, I'm sure they're
Yeah,
taking liberties here and there, but
I was trying to research that. Supposedly, supposedly, yes, he's a real person, and yes, he did work on the cultural stuff and become the cultural marketing person like he does in the movie. But I don't think he invented the flavor. I think that's embellished from what
okay,
I've read.
right. Yeah, so
But anyway.
this is telling the story. So we follow Richard pretty much from very young age up until he's working at the factory.
hmm
We get introduced to his wife, Judy, as well. So they're thick as thieves. They're always together because they were the only Hispanic kids in, I'm assuming, American school. And they were bullied for having their burritos until people try their burritos. And then he
Yep.
became an entrepreneur of sorts, selling his burritos at school for 25 cents a piece.
hmm
I don't know if I don't know what the currency is back then, but is that like was that able to get you lots or not a lot? Like what's the
Well, you think of like when we were kids, we used to go to, and this is what in the 70s as well, so even earlier. You used to, be able to pay for an arcade machine with like 20 cents, 50 cents.
no,
Now
no.
they're like $3. So yeah, 25 cents back then would have been like maybe $2, $3 buying power today.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't work out the currency of how much that actually was.
Mm,
But we're following that. We sort of follow him through their life. They have some kids. They're a bit of a struggling family. He is running with a tougher crowd. They have a bit of a life of crime. He tries to straighten up due to the family, but they can't make ends meet. He's a bit down on his luck, tries to throw all his resumes around. So I think he does quite a good job of being the charismatic, sort of
yeah,
down on his luck kind of guy. Like he's really likable. I thought the actor
definitely.
played him really well. Like
hmm
he was really fun, and you
Yep.
felt for him. Like every time he went to a interview or was turned down from a job, you're like, oh, that's quite sad.
Yeah, you're very right. I wouldn't say he was a good actor. I'm not sure that his portrayal was solid the whole way through. There were moments where I was like, he's obviously reading lines right now. But, you know, he was very likable, very charismatic as a character. They wrote him well, I think.
Yeah, so we're following him around. And he finally gets his little break at the as a janitor, and I enjoyed him trying to like bond with the what was his name?
Oh, Clarence C. Baker.
Yeah,
Yeah, the engineer.
yeah. So the whole movie, it's not an overly long movie. Like it's an hour and 40, but it is
Mhm.
really just following his journey with him trying to build relationships, him coming up with the flavor through his cultural background, and
Yep.
then I it is told through his sort of eyes. I like how his retellings were always like so outlandish. Like there were
Yeah.
moments where the higher ups, he's doing the voices and they're all acting it out. Like it's
Mhm.
very fun
Yeah.
with how they're telling it. Like I enjoyed those moments. It broke up the casual day to day of him doing his bits and pieces, and it's just I had a really good time just following his journey and the process that they went through to be able to develop these flaming hot Cheetos.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they,
You're right, because it's told through his perspective. There's a lot of moments where he was like, there's a moment where he meets the big boss guy, and the crowd part like the Red Sea, and he walks through where they're all applauding him and they're like cheering him and shit. And he's like, that's probably not how it went exactly. It went a bit more like this, and it's sort of him like, excuse me, coming through, excuse me. Like, yeah, it was nice. It was very, like you said, it was very fun. Like a story of a retelling or like this could have been very boring, but it
yeah,
wasn't.
no, it could have been real dry. So I was
Hmm.
just looking at the director. It is
Eva
Eva.
Longoria.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
was surprised about
the
that.
directorial debut. We mentioned it a few weeks ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't expect this from her, and I gotta be honest, I was expecting worse from her. I'm not sure how many experienced, she might have had a really experienced DOP and might have had a really experienced assistant, whatever else that might have supported her a bit. I don't know, but she did a good job. I think it was directed quite well.
yeah. It was the pacing was good. Like there was never really much downtime. Like it moved at quite a steady pace, quite a quick pace.
Hmm.
There was like quite a lot of comedy. Obviously, they do take some liberties. Like I'm not sure when they're trying to combat the higher ups marketing, like lack of push, where he gets the cartel of whatever description they are to like start peddling chips.
Yeah, right.
Like very, very funny, very fun scene, but I don't know how closely it is related to the story.
Hmm.
With these types of sort of biopics, I like to see at the end, which they do show, like the real person, and that
Yes, definitely. You needed that.
yeah. So
Hmm.
they show the real person, they show the wife, they show the kids, and I think they did pretty good job with casting their characters to look like reasonably close to the
Oh,
real
definitely.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So
Oh my God. A microwave for some reason has started cutting internet again. I'm sorry. If you're talking, I'm probably cutting you off. I'm losing you. You're probably losing me.
ah, right. That's all good. So yeah, it's really really fun. It's quick paced. The guy is very charismatic, so you are rooting for him. You want him to succeed, and those
Hmm.
people around him. Like there are moments, like you said, like his acting ability isn't the greatest, but for a straight to streaming service film, which is on Hulu, which is Disney for us, like it's very good considering
Yeah.
it's not a like a theater debut. It's straight to
Hmm.
streaming, and if like Netflix put this out, like I'd be happy with that. But
Yeah.
straight to streaming, I had a really really fun time
Yeah.
going
It's
it.
another one of those mid-budget, low-risk movies that have come out recently that I think is more of a hit than a miss. This is probably the best thing I saw this week. I thought, yeah, it like you said, really fun characters. I think a really fun retelling of a story that could have been quite boring. Any story set in like the marketing world is not going to be super exciting, but they did a good job in telling it. It is hard to know what's like legit, what's actual true. I did a little bit of research, but it seems Like even lays aren't that clear on what's true and what's not. But the fact that we get this, story, this little bunch of images and stuff at the end telling us about the real Richard Martinez. It's yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good fun watch. I actually had a good time with it. It's I don't know what else to say really. If
What would you?
editing was kind of weird. Like there were moments where it felt like an ad, not necessarily an ad for Cheetos or anything, but like there are moments where it was edited. It felt like an advertisement in the way that, yeah, it's just a few moments. It felt kind of weird, but I think that's just like I looked at the editors and stuff. They don't have a lot of experience, so I think that just could have come down to a lack of experience or maybe previous work in the advertising industry. I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty good. What would I give it? Still like a 3.5. It's probably on par with Becky. There are moments in this that I got pretty emotional at the end. I didn't like sit down and fucking cry. But at the end when he obviously we know this is going to be a feel good movie, but at the end when he gets the higher job or whatever, and he calls his wife and he says, "We're gonna need more tires," and she started like she cries in Target, middle of the Target warehouse, and it was like a really nice moment. So yeah, they definitely plucked the heartstrings and did a really good job at making you want the characters to succeed. So yeah, like a 3.5, I think is fair.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I had a great time with it. I thought pacing was good. It was a fun watch. It wasn't like sometimes you sit there and you're like, oh, this is going to take forever. But
Mm-hmm.
it was fun. He was charismatic. You felt for the character. You wanted him to succeed. Like that's what I want in one of those straight to streaming service films. Like it
Yep.
ticked all the boxes. It's just yeah. I feel the acting bits were a bit hit and miss there, but I agree. It's like a 3.5. It's definitely a big
Mm-hmm.
recommendation to go have a look. So
Yeah, it's very engaging. Like you said, start to finish, I didn't feel like I was waiting for the next scene at any point. It was, yeah, it was good. It was good.
it was good. Well, next week we've got a Lawson picks, which
You bet.
he's got it to stitch me up, and I've got
Yes.
a Ryman picks to stitch him up, and then
Mm-hmm.
we've got a film that is stitching both of us up. So we are
That's
watching
fair.
Is It Cake season 2, which is
You.
a Netflix show about cake. Is it cake
Is
or
it cake?
is it not cake?
Look. Let me quickly just say the first season is so trash, but like it's so entertaining. The host is the cringiest motherfucker I've ever witnessed. He is so awkward with all the cast, and the guests they get to come in have more charisma than him. But it's fun. It's so fun. Eb and I like when we watch it, and they bring out the five objects, and one of them is cake. We sit there, we're like, oh, I think it's four, no, I think it's five, and then they guess, and then we're like, oh my god, I can't believe it was three. Like, it's it's fun, man. What you let yourself have fun with it.
Did you let yourself have fun with Transformers?
I really tried. I go
Yeah,
into everything with open mind.
yeah, I'll
Like I
try.
said, I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, yeah, I'll try. And then we got to go fast because we are watching The Flash.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised it even got released after all the controversy with
Mm,
the actor. I'm surprised
it was a bit,
because
hey.
they were talking about like full reshooting the entire film with a new person.
Right.
But
Was this because I know nothing about how many Flash movies and stuff. Is this a sequel, prequel? Where are we at with Flash movies
I think
and shows and
this
stuff?
is the first like Flash standalone film.
Oh, is it? Because it was a TV show, right?
Yeah, there was a TV show, and then he appeared
Okay.
in the Justice Leagues.
Oh, right. So this is the first like actual Flash film.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So
All right.
yeah, there's a full Flash like crossover with the TV show with like the Arrowverse, and then he was in the Justice League, and then this is your
His
standalone.
first standalone. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure. I'm
Flash,
open-minded.
Flash isn't my favorite superhero.
Okay.
And then we've got Armageddon 2025, which is what was that studio that is
The
renowned for
Asylum.
its big asylum?
Mm-hmm.
So Get
Yeah.
strapped in for that one.
This is the movie where I watched the trailer before it came on. It's all the monsters from a lot of their previous films. So it's probably gonna have a Sharknado. It's probably gonna have the dinosaurs from that Domination that we watched. Yeah, it's gonna be a travesty mishmash of everything. And that's what the Asylum do. So terrible acting and terrible CGI. Here it comes. I'm excited.
Yeah, pumped. Yeah, absolutely pumped. All right, that is all we got in store for you this week. But you can catch me live on YouTube and Kick now as well. We on Mondays and Fridays. Mondays at 7:45 and Fridays during the day, somewhere between like 10 and 11. So if you don't work, just get on board or you're on a lunch break.
Yeah, but
And
job.
then Twitch is Tuesday and Thursday at 7:45 Australian Central Standard Time. So all we do ask is that you can share it with your friends. Tell your
friends.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Love yous.